everyone. I'm Carol Keller, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Illinois in the U.S., coming to you today with the first of my 2 videos for March's bundle bonus. What's bundle bonus, you ask? If you buy the bundle from me, the one that I'm demonstrating this month, and actually in this case there are 2 choices of bundles, but if you buy either of the bundles from me, I will send you the components to make both cards that I am demonstrating using the bundle. It's as easy as that. Today I am using the Heart and Home Suite, which has 2 bundles, the Blessings of Home bundle and the Honeybee Home bundle. I am using both components of the Blessings of Home bundle for this card, plus the stamp set from the Honeybee Home bundle. So a little bit of everything today. And I'm going to turn my camera around right away so that we can get started with the project. Here is my first card for this month's bundle bonus. It is a trifold, fancy fold, and I'm going to put it right there. I'm starting with an A2 card that's cut at 5.5 by 8.5, but it is not scored yet. For an A4 card, you would be using one that is 14.9 centimeters by 21 centimeters. And for the A2 card, we are going to score it at 2 1/8 inches. And 4 1/4 inches. For an A4 card, you would score at 5.3 centimeters and 10.5 centimeters. I'm going to bring that back in, and then we're just going to fold out, and then in. And we'll score it or burnish it with the bone folder. And you may have to do that at the end as well so it lies a little more flat. And then we're going to put that aside because next we need cardstock. A piece of cardstock. This one is cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches or 10 centimeters by 14.4 centimeters. And I've also cut a piece of designer series paper. This one is 3 3/4 inches by 5 or 9.5 centimeters by 13.9. And we're just going to put all those layers together. Actually, you know what? I think we'll do some stamping first. It'll make it a little bit easier for what we're going to do on the inside. So we're going to stamp on the inside first, and then we will put those layers on the front. So I have my fresh Freesia ink pad. And I have one of the stamps from the Honeybee Home stamp set. And we're going to stamp that on the inside panel. And this flower grouping is also from that Honeybee Home. We're going to do one at the bottom, but not too close because the card has to close. Hopefully I did that right. Has to close without it showing. Yep, that's going to be fine. And now we'll put our layers on, just using some Stampin' Seal. And now to adhere this to the card front, we only want Stampin' Seal here. So I'm going to be careful to just put a couple of lines right there, so that it adheres to that card front but doesn't interfere with opening and closing it. See how that looks. And you kind of want to gauge all the way around that there's the same or a similar distance. So on this side, but also on that side. And so there we have our fancy fold. For the next part, we're going to do a little more stamping. And so I have a scrap of basic white. And on this card, I stamped in Smoky Slate. So it has the effect of a no-line watercolor look. But this time I'm going to try it in Memento Black. And you can see which one you like best. And I think we're going to bring ink pad to stamp. Make sure we've got good coverage. stamp. And then to color, I have my Stampin Blends. I used the light Saffron for the centers of the flowers. And I won't color everything on camera, but I will give you a sense of what I used for each part. I did my dark fresh Freesia before my light and just gave the flowers some definition following the lines that are already there. And then I used the light fresh Freesia to color them in, at least for these two bigger flowers. And for the smaller flowers, I just used the dark fresh Freesia to give a little contrast. For the leaves and the stems, I used the light soft succulent, but I'm starting with the dark. Again, I gave the leaves some definition, just following along with what's already stamped there. And then I brought in the light and went over the same sections and then filled in. And I'm going to use the fine tip for the stems. And then you cut it out with the die that comes with the Blessings of Home dies. So I've already cut that out and finished coloring, so I'm going to bring that in. I also use my layering circles to cut out the largest scallop from that set. And that we can layer right here, but actually I think I'll work from here first. Kind of gauge where I would like this to go. Use my Stampin' Seal to put it on. Like that. And then I have cut from Soft Succulent several of the leaves from that same die set. And I put adhesive sheets on the back so that it's easier to adhere. And just tucking it behind the flower a little bit. And this one I did not cut all the way completely to the bottom. I was trying to make the best use of my space, but I know that it's going to be tucked in and it won't matter, it won't show. And for this one, there are a couple of pieces that just need to be poked out. So I'll use my Take Your Pick tool, poke those out of there. And this one will tuck in here, kind of overlapping inside and then outside on the flower. And then last but not least, and this one also has several insides that need to be poked out. And then we'll tuck this one behind and on top. And then we'll adhere it to the card front. And now we'll press the rest down so that it adheres as well, which is the reason I did not use dimensionals for this. And then last but not least, we have our sentiment. So I have just a scrap of fresh Freesia that's about a 1/2 inch wide. And I'm bringing in this scrap because I want to make sure that my stamp is positioned correctly before I stamp it on here, because sometimes there's a little more rubber at one end than the other, so it stamps crooked. So the way I do that is line the bottom of the stamp up with the line on the paper here. And you see it's going down, so I'm going to adjust a little bit. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to adjust a little bit here. All right, pretty good. And now I'm just going to cut a little flag at each end. So I'm going to cut it down a little bit and then cut down the center and cut from each side to that center point. And on this card, I did not use any dimensionals, but I think I'm going to try the minis on this one and see how that looks with it bumped up just a little bit, since there are a couple of different layers. And then center it over the stem at the bottom. And all our card needs is a little bling. And for that, I have the brushed brass butterflies. This is a little bit crooked. Let's fix that. So we'll add a few butterflies. And our card is complete. And for the envelope, I'm just going to use that same stamp and my Memento black ink again. Grab my scrap because it's going to go off the envelope. And now we have a coordinating envelope with our card. So for the items that I used this Heart and Home Designer Series paper, the fresh Freesia with the white flowers, and I used the Blessings of Home bundle, so both the Blessings of Home stamp set and the Flowers of Home dies. And then I also used a couple of the stamps from the Honeybee Home stamp set, along with the layering circles dies and the brushed brass butterflies. I hope you like my card. Thanks so much for joining me. And there will be a second card using the same bundle, so look for that on my YouTube channel as well. If you purchase the bundle from me, you will get the components for both cards. I will send them to you so that you can make it yourself. All right, take care everyone. See you again soon. Bye-bye.